my name is Jason Chonko and I'm the Applications Marketing Manager at SIGLENT Technologies North America. In today's video, I'm going to show you a little bit more about the Search and Navigate feature for the SDS2000X Plus. This is also available on a few other oscilloscopes, the SDS5000X and the X-E series. I had a customer call and they were doing dirty power testing. In dirty power testing, the sine wave, the voltage coming in, instead of being the max voltage, you actually get dropouts or smaller events that occur. A brownout is another way of putting that. So the power coming into the instrument or the device that you're testing is not consistent over time. This particular application, they wanted to capture when that voltage dropped to a certain level, but they needed to see it in a very long time base. So this particular customer wanted to collect data for seconds and take a look at single events that may have dropped out. So here in the US or North America, our power is 60 hertz. That means the period of the sine wave for the power or the voltage being delivered is 16.67 milliseconds. So I set up a little experiment here in which I am using one of our function generators. Channel 1 is going to be putting out a amplitude modulated sine wave, so the high and low levels are set here, but I'm at 16.67 milliseconds, so 60 hertz on that sine wave, and then I'm modulating it using channel 2. And what I'm doing with this particular event, or in this particular case, channel 2 is staying high for a period of time. That means I'm going to get full amplitude out of that AM modulated signal for channel 1. Then I'm going to decrease the amplitude for channel 1 by dropping this voltage value on the pulse. So in this case, I've got a 1 second pulse, and for 984 milliseconds, so the majority of that pulse is going to be high, but then 16 milliseconds is going to be low. That's equated to roughly 1 period. And you'll see on the scope display, I'm seeing about once a second, I'm seeing a 1 period drop in my amplitude. Now, if I knew exactly where it was, and I do in this case because we set up this experiment, it's pretty easy to find. But if I didn't know where it was, it may be very difficult. And it's even worse if I change the time here. I'm just going to make this 10 seconds, and then I'm going to set the pulse width to 984 milliseconds. Oh, sorry. 9.984 milliseconds. There we go. So now once every 10 seconds I'm going to get this event to occur. Maybe it could be even longer. I could do 100 seconds and just have it show up once every 100 seconds or so. And you can see here we're getting some of that showing up here, and I may have made a mistake. Oh, yep, I did. Actually want that to be 9.984 seconds, so 16 milliseconds, and we should get the things to key back up here in a moment. So I'm going to back out a little bit, and I'm going to shrink my time scale. So now I'm going to look at, this is 5 seconds per division, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I've got 10 divisions, so this is 50 seconds worth of data, and you'll see I'm going to disable that for just a moment. We'll let that collect data for just a moment. Okay, now we have all of our data, and you can barely make out that there are some discrepancies here periodically. Now, again, we're doing an experiment, so I know that those are particular problems, and I could say, oh, okay, we can just zoom directly into those areas. But what I would like to do is actually do more of a thought process here. We don't know where things are happening. What we can do with the oscilloscope is turn on the search feature. And with search is really a secondary trigger. So we've collected all of this data. We can actually stop collecting data now. We have all of this data in the scope, and now we can apply a secondary trigger and help to filter out or identify particular areas that we may want to go and drill into and look at a little bit more detail. So in this case, I'm going to take a look at a runt trigger. The runt trigger, the way it's configured, or a runt trigger is a specific period of time or less than a specific period of time. We have different, it's a specific period of time or under a specific period of time. We can set a limit range, so less than or equal to. My upper value in time is 25 milliseconds. I know I'm looking for a period of time where we're getting voltages that are lower than a particular value. And now I can adjust those values. Oh, and now you'll see that once I adjusted the upper levels, now we have these white arrows at the top, and those are indicating that there's something happening that matches this trigger condition in those particular areas. And now, since I see those very easily, I can then go to one key navigate, and I can go to each event number. So now this is event number 1. I can then expand it. I can expand it and take a look at that particular event. I can also turn on measurements, and with measurements we have the ability to turn on a gate. Now I can turn on a particular gated measurement, and I can move that gated measurement and just look at the voltage values in that particular area. So you can see 360 millivolts. So I have a fairly significant drop in that particular measurement or that particular amplitude for a really short period of time. So search and navigate can be extremely helpful when you're looking for that needle in the haystack. We have a lot of data to look through, but that secondary trigger search, or that search capability to be able to apply that secondary trigger as a filter, can really help cull through that data set and give us a lot less to look through to find that specific answer. So I hope that's helpful for you. If you have any other questions, please contact your local SIGLENT